here, and we are off and running. So take it away, my friend.
Well, thank you, sir. Tell me you can hear me okay.
I can hear you good.
Perfect. So thanks everybody for getting together. And I want to echo what Clinton said. You're doing an amazing job, and we've seen some tremendous growth in a very, very short amount of time from all the hard work that you're putting in. And I know that I guess the backdrop behind why I thought I would come on and help kind of walk through some of our social media policies, and not just the rules, I guess, because they're probably a little different than what some of you may be used to. But talk a little bit about the principles behind why we have the policies, because I think that that's important, that you know the landscape of the company that you're a part of, a very successful part of, to make sure that not only are you, embracing the culture of the company and taking advantage of all of the opportunities for success that you have with Melaleuca, but also empower you to reach out and share that with your team as you start to bring people on board as well, because that message, what you reach out and share with people, is what they're going to take from it. And so I think it's very valuable for you to know exactly why we have some of the policies that we have in place, and I think more importantly, the principles behind how we operate as a company and how we've always operated as a company, and why that's such a strength for you being marketing executive. So the first thing I want to do is, can everybody see me okay? I'm going to share my screen here because I want to show you. I'm going to show you my desktop here because I want to go to melaleuca.com because there's a ton of resources that are here available to you. And probably one of the most important ones, or the one that we're going to be referencing today anyway, is a document called Building Your Business Online. I'm going to show you where to get that. Every single one of you has access to this Melaleuca webpage. And so as you log in, this will look very familiar. You're in the product store here. If you go to the Business Center and then move down to Reports and Tools, you're going to find a section of our website called the Download and Print Center. And in the Download and Print Center are all of our documents, all of our policies, quite a bit of great, training material and tools that you can use in your business. But the one that we're going to reference here is called Building Your Business Online. And it's in here. Hopefully you can all see what I'm doing here. In the Download and Print Center, you'll be able to see the PDF of the Building Your Melaleuca Business Online. Right. Right here. See this? Guidelines for Building Your Business Online. If you speak Spanish, you can also download it there. But you'll see this document when you pull it up. It's a really good, not just a rules and don'ts for our social media policy, but it does a really good job of walking through why we have the policies, what some of the reasons behind the policies are, how to use them, and then some suggestions as well. My favorite part here is when you go to the back of the document, and we won't go through the whole thing because we're going to talk about some other stuff here, is at the very, very back, the very last page is the before you post checklist. And so this is a good guide to set up some guardrails to make sure that you're being compliant and you're also putting yourself in a position where you can be successful when you post. And so you can see there the first question is there a way for a person to tell you're with Melaleuca, including references to the compensation plan, reorder rate, services, track record, etc. If the answer is yes, don't post it, right? Are you representing a lavish lifestyle? Don't post it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But that document is in there for any reference. As always, we've got our department here, the coaching and leader development team, always here to help you. So if you ever have any questions about any of that stuff, feel free to give us a call if there's a one-off scenario and you're just not sure how to approach it. So I'm going to jump over here, and I want to just run through our social media policy because I'm just going to be candid. It's probably a lot for those of you who've been involved with some sort of direct sales company or multi-level marketing company. It's different, and it's pretty significantly different in that a lot of the companies really want to be a household name, and from Melaleuca's standpoint, we do not. The reason we don't is because when you're a household name, people make assumptions and they think they know what Melaleuca is. And like Clinton said, for 31 years, he didn't know what Melaleuca was until somebody reached out to him individually. And that's the ideal situation that we want to have happen, because that's where you have the best odds of success. Other companies will promote posts, and I won't name any names here, but there's a lot of companies out there that actually do exactly the opposite of that, and they want to blast their name out across social media or any other platform or the internet, Google search engines, email marketing campaigns, in an attempt to get in front of as many customers as possible. And typically what we see is that there's a lot of direct sales companies that will explode really fast because of that. Everybody gets really, really excited. The problem is that once they get done with that campaign, now everybody's heard of them, they have an idea of what it is, and the majority of the people aren't interested. And so now it makes your job as a marketing executive that much harder, because there's a preconceived notion out there. And so that's really the principle behind why we've chosen to take this sort of a stance on our social media policy. Is that we want you to be able to build a business that's going to last a lifetime. And I want the first time somebody to hear about Melaleuca to be from you, to be because you have a relationship and you've got a solution to help them, whether it's through products or building a business. I want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to be successful. And part of that is making it so that we're not, spammed all over the internet. And by the way, this isn't anything new. We've had policies such as this in place way back even before the internet, when we had policies against, going around in grocery store parking lots and putting flyers on cars, or when email marketing came around, setting up email marketing campaigns to just go and blast everybody in your Rolodex and get it out there. And the idea is to be very, very careful with any kind of public or mass market communication, so that you don't, what we call, burn the fields and erode your and everybody else's ability to build the business. And so social media is just the latest iteration of that. And that includes, my gosh, it includes Facebook, it includes Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, we're growing in such a social media world right now. In fact, social media basically is the internet now. It's a tremendous tool to be able to get in front of people. It's a tremendous way to build relationships. But it's also very dangerous, because it's easier than ever to be able to burn the field. If you went out and put flyers on grocery store cars in a parking lot, then you've only impacted those people. But now with social media and the thousands of followers we have, Instagram posts and such, that world gets really, really small. And so it's potentially also very dangerous. So we're going to talk a little bit about the right way to use social media in your business. And I want to share with you one of our core values. Melaleuca is a business that's centered on relationships, and the core of what we do involves connecting with others. Ironically, also the core of what you do and what I do and what everybody else does with social media is a way to do that as well, in order to connect with others. And so we're going to talk a little bit about proactive versus reactive. Businesses are built best proactively. I'm going to tell you what I mean. If you look at a business reactively, that's like setting something out on a table, or let's say you were going to go pepper the cars with flyers, right, in that grocery store. We'll use that example, and then going home and just waiting for the phone to ring. You haven't done anything actively to build your business. You're hoping that the passive way or the reactive way that you've chosen to build your business is going to result in people coming to you to ask you to enroll them. And I think if any of us thinks much about it, I think we all know that consumer behavior doesn't really work that way. And so a lot of the things that we're going to talk about are putting you back in the driver's seat of your business, so that you can be proactive as you build your business rather than reactive. So when done right, social media can build your contact list. It can identify needs. You can build relationships. You can generate interest. You can, post funny posts, whatever, and it creates an attention tool. But I think that there's also a very fine line between what those people signed up for when they wanted to become your friend, and what you're giving them. And you want to make sure that you respect that. Oftentimes people don't become our Facebook friends or social media friends so that we can sell them something. And so you want to respect the reason that they're there. You want to share cute pictures of your kids playing in the swimming pool, things of that nature, not trying to sell them something every day. And so I think that helps to, again, in that vein of not burning the fields. So one of our key components in any of our social media posts, and probably our number one, is don't mention Melaleuca. And I don't want to get stuck in the technicalities of this. Again, the principle behind it is so that we're not giving people the idea that they know who we are, because they don't, right? And so you'll see very, very few posts out on social media that mention the word Melaleuca. And it's because it's specifically against our policies, because we don't want everybody to hear it. We don't want to turn into a lip sense or a unique or a beach body that everybody's got a preconceived notion about, because then it hinders your ability to reach out to them. And so what I'll tell you is we say don't mention the word Melaleuca, but that also includes don't say, my wellness shopping club, because that's really what you're saying is Melaleuca. And trust me, if you say my wellness shopping club enough times, it does the exact same thing as if you were to say Melaleuca. And so when we say don't mention Melaleuca, I would say don't indicate Melaleuca or anything about Melaleuca in your posts. Okay, so number one, and just to make sure that you're aware of the landscape, I love Melaleuca, I love shopping at Melaleuca, not a good post, because then people have those preconceived notions. And so that's a big piece of it. We're also going to talk, because there's two ways we approach social media. We approach it in a private setting, and just so you know, this is in any setting. This isn't necessarily just social media. It can be in public forum settings, if you rented out rooms in a restaurant, stuff like that. We want to talk about how we treat things. If you've got a private group, and how we define private group is people that are invited and have opted in, because those are two different things. There's different pages that you can invite people to that they just end up joining that they had no choice. But if everybody that's on that page is a Melaleuca customer and wants to be there, then the rules change pretty significantly. You can talk about Melaleuca, you can share product experiences, you can talk about the business, because everybody that's there is a Melaleuca customer, has seen an overview, knows what the company is about, and so the rules change specifically. So that's one category. We'll call that private groups. Public groups include your Facebook page, your news feed. If you're just posting something right on your Facebook page, we treat it as public, even though only your friends might be able to see it. Okay, we're still going to treat it from a policy standpoint and from a principle standpoint as a public forum. These are going to be your buy and sell groups, yard sale groups, any of that kind of stuff that are able to be seen by a lot of people who haven't opted in specifically for that information. We'll treat those as public groups. There's some work at home groups, and we'll chat about that here in a minute, where the rules change a little bit, but I just wanted to show you how we determine what's public and what's private, just so you know kind of what we're looking at. So your wall and the things that you were post, we consider as public as far as a policy standpoint. So just so everybody knows that. So I want to talk about for sale groups. So we specifically have a policy not to post your business opportunity in for sale groups, because very plainly, you're not selling anything. And so I've included an example of a post here that was actually for Melaleuca, right? And it's one that our policy department had to reach out for and have them take down. But if you can see it, you can kind of see a number of things in there that really just kind of, throw up the red flags as far as, you got a pretty good idea of what they're doing here. They're not selling anything for $500 or $3,000. They're selling something for $1. And what they're selling is part of full-time income. And our company's been in the health and wellness field for 31 years, which is basically the same as saying Melaleuca. We're Better Business approved, privately owned. We're an Inc. 500 company. All are true, but since this is a public post, remember, this potentially can burn the fields, because anybody that looks in this buy and sell group will be able to see that, and then they can get kind of an idea of who you are, because your name is going to be attached to this post. We've cut it off for purposes of this slide. And so if you ever have the opportunity to reach out to somebody individually, oftentimes they'll look and say, gosh, that's that Melaleuca guy, or that's that Melaleuca lady. I'm not going to answer the phone, or I'm not going to message them back. And so this is an example of a post that has a few things wrong with it. One, especially since it's a buy and sell group and not necessarily like a work from home or your personal page. So here's an example of I guess what not to do, because this can put you in a situation where you're burning fields. FYI, we also had an instance where somebody was going through and posting in these buy and sell groups, and I think they were just cutting and pasting, and I'm pretty sure that they were doing it full time because there were a ton of groups, and so it kind of becomes spam at that point. And people that are members of a couple of different groups, I personally am a member of a garage sale group here in my local town, Idaho Falls, and I'm also a member of a classic car group. And so if somebody's posting the same thing in multiple pages, like I can smell it coming, and I'm probably not going to pick up the phone when you do reach out to try to enroll me. So great example of what not to do here. Your public groups, you have to treat just like you're posting on your public wall, because everybody can see it. And that's not necessarily just, again, just your friends. Even if you have your settings set to friends, we're going to treat it as a public group because you've got the ability, and some of you have 1,500, 2,000, 4,000. Is Erin on here? She's got so many friends, I can't even be friends with her anymore because she's got filled up so much. So by the way, Erin, if you're on here, you're listening to it, make room for me. I'm feeling kind of beat up here. But that's 5,000 people that see your posts. And if you're posting like that day in and day out and day in and day out, it's going to really damage your ability to build a business that lasts a lifetime. So again, treat these as public groups. I also want to talk about business language versus MLM or direct sales lingo. There's things that we've all heard, and I think I've got an example on this next slide. Well, here, we'll go in a little bit. There are words that you'll hear in the MLM industry that you don't hear in any other business setting in the world. I'll give you an example. Upline, downline, first position, top line, sign up, get in, my recruiter, my sponsor. Those are words that don't exist in the business world. And so as you're starting to think about how you're going to use your social media, because again, everybody's eyeballs are on this, think about, does your post include any of that kind of language? Does any of your social media profile include that kind of a language? Are you talking about uplines or downlines? And I've got an example post a little bit later in this slideshow that I'm going to show you that gives you a great example of that. If somebody who wasn't experienced in the MLM world were to look at that, what would they think? And so I really want to paint a pretty big picture about business language instead of MLM lingo, because I guarantee if you use the word upline, it screams MLM to somebody. It's been used enough in a public forum that people know what that is, or they don't necessarily know what it is, but they think they know what it is, and then they won't be interested. So be really careful not to include a lot of that MLM lingo, especially on social media, because again, your audience is huge, and so your ability to influence or your ability to damage is much bigger than it ever has been before. So another key component of our policy is no income claims. Here's why. I think, yep, I got this one. So here's why. Typical society considers it in bad taste to talk about income in a social setting. Well, social media is an extension of that social setting, okay? And so I'll give you an example. Like when you meet somebody new, a topic of conversation typically isn't, oh, really, what's your salary? Or what did your W-2 look like last year? It's really, for most of the world, considered in poor taste. And so I know that oftentimes it becomes very, the desire to share your income with somebody as an inspiration can be a great temptation. But I'll tell you, when we're dealing with people in a manner that we're dealing with, I will tell you, regular rules apply, and income claims can be considered in bad taste. I'll give you an example. So like, okay, in the MLM world, we may tout the fact that, yes, I made $5,000 last month, or I make $10,000 a month, and that becomes something that people envy or may want to reach out to you because of. But let's flip that on its ear, and I want to talk about a regular profession, because the one thing that I will tell you about Melaleuca is we aren't an MLM. We're not a direct sales company. And the intent behind building a Melaleuca business is to build a business that's going to last a lifetime, build a real sustainable business that will last a long time. And so think about some of the other sustainable businesses that we deal with in our life. So like, what if a doctor said, hey, it's flu season, we're killing it, we're making a ton of money, we're crushing it, love flu season, hashtag love sick people. Like, you'd think that was in bad taste, right? Because that doctor would be talking about how much money that he's getting from people. It just doesn't fit in any other scenario besides that MLM/direct sales scenario. And so that's the principle behind the policies, because we want you to act in accordance with the values of society. Don't make income claims, because that can sometimes be considered in bad taste. Another example that I heard Kevin use was if a lawyer posts something on Facebook, he's like, or an accountant posts something online and says, hey, I'm spending all day at home doing TurboTax. People are paying me tons of money to do their taxes, loving life, hashtag, lazy people rock. It's just considered in poor taste. And so we'd encourage you not to make any kind of income claims or even reference income for that matter, because I'll tell you, the vast majority of the customers that you will enroll will just be customers. They're just here for the products, because the products really are good. And I know that most of you know that, and they're reasonably priced, and there's a reason for them to be customers, not like a lot of the direct sales or MLM companies where the only reason it makes sense to become customers is because there's a money deal attached to it. So income claims are considered in poor taste. And so that's one of the things that we talk about in our policies. So here's another example of that. I love month end. Things are really heating up. I'm looking for 2 more people ready to make $500 or $1,000 monthly from social media. There's 2 problems here. One, you're making an income claim. There's a call to action, and we're going to talk about calls to action here in just a minute. But there's an income claim, $500 to $1,000 monthly, because you can't guarantee that, right? It takes work to make $500 or $1,000 monthly. We all know that. And so don't want to indicate that first off, everybody can make $500 to $1,000 a month, or that social media will do it, because I think, kind of as we know, social media doesn't really do it. It's the relationships and the reaching out to people is what builds our business. And so this is an example of a post that would be not just out of compliance, but probably not very effective. And for those of you who watch a lot of the social media or have exposure into direct sales or multi-level marketing, people that you follow on social media, go take a look at the types of things that they do and the amount of likes that they get when they post, something with an example of their kids swimming in the pool in the summertime, like I used before. How many likes and comments do they get? And then when they post something about their business, something like this, right? I love month end. Things are really heating up. 10% off sale. Just got my order in. Look at how many likes and comments they have. And then take an extra step and look who's liking and look who's commenting. Is it probably most of the people on their team, people that are already involved in the company, and then probably their mom? Those are the people that usually like those posts. And so in making a post like that, not only are you potentially burning the field, but you're also not generating any growth in your business. So a little activity that you can go try. Oh, and getting thousands in bonuses. Don't have to leave my house. And the best part is I have team members that are making real residuals for the first time ever in this industry. Number one, you're not in this industry. In becoming a Melaleuca customer, you have joined another industry. It's consumer direct marketing. It is not direct sales. It is not multi-level marketing. We don't make money for recruiting or selling packs to distributors and such. Secondly, you're making an income claim here in real residual income, and stressing the fact that there's little or no work involved, right? One of our basic tenets as a company is that the truth is good enough. And I think while this doesn't explicitly say that you can build this business without, any effort, it kind of implies that with this post. Don't have to leave my house. Team members that are making real residuals. It really feels like I can do this without having to do anything. And we all know if we're going to build a business to last a lifetime, it takes a little bit of effort. There's really nothing that replaces it. So great example of a post. Don't talk about the business opportunity any way, shape, or form. There's an example of a few posts where people will, and a gentleman by the name of Kevin Sommer, who actually does a lot of our social media work and compliance, was talking about this There's some posts that are really, really good, except for like maybe one thing. So chilling at the beach with my dog, having a great day, soaking up the sun. So glad I partnered with this health and wellness company so that I can do this. Well, now you just turned it into a sales pitch. And so another part of our compliance, or that's the reason behind it, part of our policy or part of our compliance department will look for anybody that's talking about the business opportunity, with the exception that if you are part of a group that specifically is like a work from home group or a group that is specifically built for sharing business opportunities, you can talk about the business in there. Again, still can't say Melaleuca, you still can't have a call to action. Calls to action are what we're going to talk about next. So there's still some rules that you have to follow. You can talk about the business, but only when you're in a forum that's specifically built for that purpose. Because the people that have joined that group have opted in for that experience, right? They didn't become a friend of this group thinking that they were just going to, build relationships and see funny cat photos. They're actually there for the business. So you can talk about that, and we can get into those specifics for individual scenarios as we go. Here's an example of some of that MLM language and just like overall, okay, some of you have some experience in direct sales or multi-level marketing companies. Some of you don't. If you didn't have experience in a multi-level marketing company, what would you think if you read this? If I move you to my front line in my organization, it's a huge compliment. It says, I know you're a great leader and you will get a lot more spillover from this massive org we are launching right now. Just don't. It's something that lives in that small niche of the market that's very passionate about MLM and direct sales. And this post for me screams multi-level marketing or direct sales. It's a great example of how you could burn the fields. And I don't think we need to really further analyze that anymore, but that's another one of those things that talks about business opportunities. And there's nothing about the products in here. There's nothing about why somebody would like to become a customer, or why you like being a customer, or what's done for you, or anything like that. It's just, it's all about just spillover from this huge org that we're building. It's a great example of, again, another post. These are all real posts, by the way, except for that doctor one. That doctor one was a little made up. We did build that one specifically for this, but these are all real posts that we've actually gotten from our compliance department. So FYI, these are things that have happened. Celebrating success. Some people never make 500 online. I've never seen so many coming in and making it their first month. Emoji, 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 emoji. I like emojis too. Don't get me wrong. Duplication, systems, amazing leadership equals endless opportunity. Great example, income claims. I have no clue what this person's talking about. Absolutely no clue. And nor do most of the people that are on your Facebook page. Remember, they became friends with you so that they could see pictures of your kids and build a real relationship with. And this doesn't, even though there's no call to action like message me or find out how or 10% off or any of that kind of stuff. Again, this is just another one of those posts that screams MLM, and one of the things that can potentially, again, burn those fields that we try to stay away from. Part of the reason that we do, I'll say it fairly aggressively, follow our compliance policies to just make sure that you have the best success that you can. Calls to action. These are all examples of calls to action. Now they're very blatant calls to action. Get paid for posting on social media. Hashtag, just because it's in a hashtag doesn't mean it doesn't count, by the way. So if you put a call to action in a hashtag, message me for more information, or hashtag ask me how, still a call to action. And then there's some calls to action that might not be as obvious. So posting a link, let's say, to a website or a webinar or something like that, is considered an implied call to action. You're actually asking them by including that link to click on something. And so that's considered an implied call to action. And we don't want any calls to action. Again, social media is a great tool to build relationships, to further relationships, build your contact list, find out needs. My gosh, people put so much stuff out there that you can find out anything you want about anybody and have plenty of ammunition to pick up the phone and call them individually. And as a matter of fact, I think that's probably the best way that it works. And it's going to put you in the best position to build a business that's going to last a lifetime. So no calls to action in any posts, including posts in work from home groups. Join my training tonight. These are great examples. And I think we've all seen great examples of these. And probably a lot of us have been trained to do a lot of this stuff. But it's a very reactive way to build your business. And I will tell you that if it walks like an MLM and it talks like an MLM and calls to action walk and talk like MLMs, people are either going to block you, hide you, or if they like it and comment on the post, likely they're already on your team. So no call to action, another key piece of our policy. Is anyone here looking for a little part-time work? This is an example of an implied call to action, right? Because you're actually asking a question, even though it's not technically like a call to like message me for more information. But it's a little misleading here because we're not hiring. You know, it's not a job. It's not a part-time. I mean, you could potentially make a part-time income working something similar to part-time hours, but it's not part-time work, right? It's not, you know, mowing my yard. By the way, if anybody is looking for part-time work, I have a hard time keeping up on my yard, so let me know. But we're not advertising a part-time work or a job opportunity. And then some people, this is a great post. We wanted to, we actually reached out to somebody who was posting and having call to actions and stuff like that. And so that person thought, well, I'll just sneak around the policy. And here's the intent to the policy. Thought they'd sneak around the policy by having their dog post. So great example. Wolf, I see you've been watching. I'm wondering if you have any questions. My mommy would sure be glad to ask you about an awesome product she uses for her home. You won't regret it. If your dog does it, you're still out of compliance. It just doesn't, like, it doesn't work. Cute dog, like, don't get me wrong, but it just, again, it's not fostering the build your business to last a lifetime. Tomorrow's the last day to partner with my business for only $1 investment. There's really nothing going on here. Like, I have any clue. There's no technical call to action, but there's kind of an implied call to action. You're also talking about a business because you're talking about your business and you're talking about $1 investment. And again, you know, Melaleuca is about real customers buying real products because they really want them. It doesn't have anything to do with $1 or $19 or any part of the business. You really want to focus on real customers buying real products because they really want them. And in no way, shape, or form does this necessarily fit that. And again, a great way to burn the fields and have people not answer. MBA, massive bank account posts. This is one of our founding tenets. Melaleuca is built on no hype. Clinton has been at our convention. He can attest to the fact that the most hypey thing we ever do, that we celebrate at convention, is we burn mortgages. We don't have pyrotechnic shows. We don't have, you know, fancy cars. We don't promote lavish lifestyles. We don't ever tell anybody. As a matter of fact, in the overview or in our statement of policies, we even say, don't tell people to quit their job, right? Don't fire your boss. Yeah, you might have been able to, but you don't want to promote that people can or should make some kind of decision, right? You've moved from a direct sales company or a multi-level marketing company to a company such as Melaleuca where somebody can't get hurt, right? They're buying the products that they use and then they refer other customers to do the same. There literally is no way somebody can get hurt unless you start promoting a lavish lifestyle, unless you start promoting that people can quit their jobs, because then you're potentially putting them in bad situations. And so from a company standpoint, we work really hard to try to stay out of that bucket. And we'd ask in our partnership with you that you don't put us back in that bucket. So please no lavish lifestyle posts, fire your boss. Here's an example of a great one that's not lavish lifestyle. Wow, this is so amazing to get in the mail today. In our 20 years together, John and I have never been able to drive a vehicle that was paid in full. This feels pretty surreal. That's real world stuff, right? I just paid off my car. It's not huge. I didn't buy a yacht. I didn't buy a Bentley. I didn't join the high rollers club. I'm not united by wealth. I'm not looking for a big mansion or a fancy car, especially. I don't know, again, any of that stuff costs $1,800. I think it's probably significantly more than that. But this is a real example of that lavish lifestyle type of post that none of this stuff is new to any of us. And I think that in us going over it and calling it out, I think you can all really kind of get a handle on why we try to stay away from these types of posts. There was a situation where we had a marketing executive adhering to all the policies and it was just here recently. Got a report from an admin for one of a buy and sell group that she had just cut and pasted private messages to everybody, right? So she's keeping the invite private. Well, she did it in such a way that, yes, she was compliant with the policies. She did it in such a way that it was in a private setting, but she did it so much. I think we figured out she sent out something like 2,000 private messages over the course of probably 3 different pages. Literally every member in that group got a message from this lady. So somebody put her on blast, copied the message, posted it in the public side of the page, and said, hey, FYI, is anybody else getting these messages? And that thing blew up. And they were like, heck yeah, I just got it 10 minutes ago. And people would go back and jump on that post, and pretty soon this post got to be huge. She burnt the fields, even though she technically didn't violate policy, right? She kept her invites 1-to-1, which isn't technically against policy, but when you cut and paste 2,000 times in a private setting, that basically equals a spam post. And so sadly, we had to reach out to her and have her stop, because it was she was burning her fields, even though technically she was staying within policy. So again, remember the whole intent behind it is the important part, not necessarily the policy itself. The intent behind it is the reason that the policies are there. So if you're posting about Melaleuca, if you're posting your product testimonials or how Solumel got the stains out of your couch, great. Do it one at a time. Don't overwhelm it. None of this stuff applies to your regular stuff. So if you're hanging out at the pool with the kiddos, post away. If you're baking muffins, Major made something the other day that looked delicious. Post that stuff all you want. But if you're posting about your Melaleuca business, or if you're trying to not your Melaleuca business, but posting about Melaleuca, stick to once a day. Don't go any more than that. And if you're reviewing, or if you're sharing a testimonial on the product, do one product at a time. And again, I don't want people to get stuck in the letter of the law. If you open up your bathroom cabinets and you see all of your cleaning supplies down there, and you want to comment that none of them have safety caps, that's fine. But you don't want to open up your Melaleuca box on delivery day and just start pulling it out and doing an infomercial about all the products that are coming around that you just got. So stick to one product at a time. Don't post more than once a day. Again, these are guidelines. And as you're inviting people to webinars, or inviting people to in-homes, or inviting people to sit down with you, or conference calls, do those one at a time too. But please, again, even within those criteria, you can burn the fields as well. So again, just keep in mind the culture and what you're trying to do, and I think you'll all be good. I can't believe I didn't know about this online wellness company before 6 months ago, blah, 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 blah. This is a really long post, and it lost my interest like really quickly. So first off, I'll tell you that there's some challenges in there. First off, it turns into almost like a catalog, like you're almost giving a whole overview in this post. Secondly, people don't have attention span to read this kind of stuff, right? So if you've got a ton of bullets in your posts and stuff, it's just, I don't think it's anything valuable. We're not teaching anybody. We're not sharing social value with anybody. And so here's a great example of something that would replace an overview and give somebody the false sense that they know what Melaleuca is all about. Because quite honestly, reading this post, it sounds like an MLM to me, which means overpriced products. I probably got to buy a huge kit. Like, my aunt got burned. My mom still has Avon stuff in her garage from 30 years ago. That's what it sounds like to me. So again, a great example of a post that would probably not put you in the best spot. Here's a great example of a post that would work. I think this is something that would generate interest. Spring cleaning is in full effect at my house. I've never, in 5 years of living here, been able to clean our shower this well. Good job. I haven't cleaned my shower in probably 5 years. All that cleaner did was make us sick and leave the grime behind, worthless, tumbled tile for the win. Yay, this is a product testimonial. This is about your life. You were able to clean your shower, and you did a better job than you ever could before because of this product. Amazing. Great example of a post that can build interest. Now, if you think about what this does in the future, people say, oh, awesome, you cleaned your shower. Where did that stuff? Where'd you get that stuff? Then you can reach out to them individually and invite them to an overview, okay? So this is a great example of kind of the strategy behind some sort of a product. Now, this isn't blatant and it's not in your face. You know, you're not doing the Vanna White. Did I just age myself? Hopefully you all know who Vanna White is. You know, you're not doing the infomercial thing, demonstrating products and such. And so I think this is a great example of a really real world post that somebody would really post like normally. If you ever have a doubt on any of your social media posts, if you think it might be a little too spammy, if you might be a little too salesy, or you're worried about it, again, use that checklist in that Building Your Melaleuca Business book right there. It's a great guide to give you a good idea. But if your post doesn't fit in any of that and you're like, I don't know if this was, then don't do it. Because chances are, if you get that feeling, then it probably is. If you have any questions, and if you have some really like legitimate questions, like, hey, can I do this? Can I take a look at, you know, sorry, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to figure out how to work the Zoom. Reach out to your team. You know, we're all learning these social media policies, and honestly, internally as a company, we're also learning it too, because I'll tell you, anytime we publish something like this, you know, 5 minutes from later, somebody else is doing it. And now people are sending spam on Marco Polo, or you know, whatever the next thing is. Technology advances so quickly. I think the key here is to just keep in mind the principle behind it, and that's that we want to build a business that lasts a lifetime. In order to do that, then we need to find real customers that really want to buy products because they really want them, and use those relationships to build your relations. That's why we have a 96% reorder rate versus the 11% that a lot of the direct sales companies. That's why this business will continue to be around 2 years from now. Yes, you might be able to blow it up and have everybody sign up for $1 and everybody jumps in, but what's your business going to look like in 5 years, 2 years, 10 years? You know, what is your business going to look like in the retirement years? And I think that's why we're all here, especially those of you who have multiple companies worth of direct sales experience. Probably kind of sick of a lot of the challenges, or having to jump from company to company, or watching companies explode and then implode back in on themselves because everybody thinks they know what the company's all about, and so you don't have a chance to reach out to anybody. So great example. When in doubt, don't do it. So I think that covers pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I'm going to go ahead, if you're okay with it. I just have everybody kind of unmute, and I'm good to do a quick Q&A for those of you that might have some questions.
Well, first, thank you for the training. That was incredible. I think a lot of us learned a lot of stuff. You know, I've seen it a few different times, and my face still hurts because stuff's so funny. But I think we're all in agreement that we love the policies and we embrace them. And we all know deep down that it's going to allow us to build something that's going to last forever. So I'm sure we had a lot of questions. Feel free. There's no dumb questions. Any question is a good question because it's a question.
I have a question.
All right.
Fire away, Major.
You know, if we have someone in our business or on our team that promotes to a specific level, can we give them a shout out on our Facebook pages and say, congratulations, you know, whatever?
Is that going to burn your or their field?
No.
There's nothing.
It won't.
There's no specific policy against recognition. Again, I would be careful again with that whole MLM lingo versus like regular lingo. Like if you got a promotion at work, I think it would be totally appropriate to, you know, congratulate. Hey, congratulations on your new promotion, right? But you know, I think sometimes people can go, there's a sweet spot. You don't want to go too overboard. Congratulations on advancing to Director 3. You've helped 50 people change their lives and you've earned $1,500. Like it just, I wouldn't, you know, you wouldn't think about it in the context of if you were at work and you got a promotion, right?
Right.
So I think as long as you do that, I think you can do that in good taste. Absolutely.
Awesome.
What else? That's gonna be a full-time job for you, Madra, by the way.
Well,
Here pretty soon.
I mean,
because I'm looking at everybody here, and I think everybody's going to be getting one of those posts.
Well, if I have a ton of people promoting, will that burn the field, Jason?
You got to make that call. We
if
don't have a
that's-
policy. Yeah, we don't have a policy specifically against it. Absolutely not. I mean, you got to make that judgment call, right?
Well, I'm thinking that if we don't go overboard and we don't say all this other stuff and we just say, I'm so proud of you, congratulations on hitting director in your business, I think that would draw a lot of attention to where that person would actually get a lot of messages from people saying, oh my gosh, what are you, especially if we can't post on social media, Jason, people are going to be wondering what we're promoting or what
That's
big
totally good.
promotion you got, right? So
What-
like, I think that would help them.
Maybe.
Get
What about
interest.
just congrats on your promotion?
Yeah.
You know, because then people, you know, automatically in my mind, I would think like, oh my gosh, what's she doing?
Right. I think that would actually get several people to reach out to that person.
Yep.
What I've
Okay.
done on my wall is I always congratulate and celebrate my personals and their promotions in a very classy way, in a good way, just like Jason's describing. And all throughout my team in depth, a lot of times I'll go and comment and congratulate them on that post, but a lot of times I'll hide most of it from my timeline. So if you went to my timeline, you might see 3 or 4 or 5 congratulations, but you're not going to see, like last month we had 114, you know, just on our team. So I don't want someone to go to my timeline and see 114 congratulations posts. I want them to see my fishing trip with my son, me at the pool with my wife. Then I want to see a congratulations. I say you kind of mix it in, but I always will comment on theirs because you want them to have that on their wall. So again, it's kind of a good mix, I think, where you want to celebrate. You have to celebrate people because it's a lot of hard work and it does attract a lot of people. I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten from people who go, wow, you know, looks like you're doing a lot of great things. Congratulations. You know, I'd love to talk to you about what you're doing, stuff like that. But I think you can still definitely go overboard, but I would congratulate every personal for sure. And then if you have some really good promotions down in depth in your team, I would definitely leave those two on your timeline. But I wouldn't have 114 of them on there.
No. Well, and I think that it's a moving target too. So if you notice when you do post those congratulations, are most of the comments and the replies and everything that happens within that post, are they mostly, I would probably guess that the majority of the people that comment and post on that are going to be people that are already part of the team, right? And congratulating. And so would that kind of a post be better suited to like a team page rather than a kind of a public facing? And then the public facing message, if you chose to do that, would be like, congratulations on your promotion, well deserved, you know, see you in, you know, go enjoy some sunshine next week or something, you know what I mean? So it's not so industry specific. I always put the spin on it of if this was my job, like if this was my mainstream job, would I post it?
I think I have a question that just goes along with it. So then what is this is Aaron, by the way. Hi, and I added you. So you better,
Aw.
we're friends, official. So then how do we communicate in an appropriate, non-cheesy, non-MLM way that we're killing it? Because I feel like our specific situation doesn't need to be in a cheesy way, but in some way, shape, or form, like major, like we somehow have to get across like something big's happening. I'm just asking
Right.
if you have ideas.
Yeah, I think lifestyle. You know, people are going to notice that you're bowling on a Tuesday with your kids. I can't bowl on Tuesday. I got to go to work. People are going to notice that you're always happy, that you're always having fun with your family. People are going to notice the home improvement projects and things like that you're doing, and that you're posting on it during the day. Like, what the heck? I would love to rehab my own house. How come I can't afford to rehab my own house? I wonder what she's doing. Like, I don't even know what she does. And then think of that proactive versus reactive.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, and then those people on your friends list should be on your contact list, and you can grab a handful of them, or as people are commenting and liking on your regular posts, then you can reach out to them individually. Oh my gosh, we're killing it. You got to come take a look at this overview. I think you'd be amazing at this. Like, we're having a huge team, but I think the fanfare and the fireworks, while in your particular situation, especially when you have a network in the past, may work for a minute. I don't think that that duplicates and that everybody really has that network to tap into in that manner. And so I think the better move is to create the curiosity with your lifestyle, so that when you reach out to them, because you have to, right? They're not going to reach out to you on a regular basis. When you reach out to them, they'll be interested to hear what you have to say. Make sense?
Totally agree. I love that. No, thank you. That helps.
Mm-hmm. What else? Is everybody just sitting still now? I don't see anybody moving except Jeremy. That GC control shake, Jeremy, looked amazing. For those of you who can see Jeremy here with his headset on, he's in the shirt and tie and suit here. He's the director of the Central Region. We work here at the Melaleuca home office in the coaching and leader development department. Our whole job is just to make sure that you have everything that you need to be able to build your business. And some of that's, running through the policies, and some of that's, picking up on best practices. Some of it's some cheerleading. We do a lot of that. So Jeremy is the director of the Central Region. He works with senior directors and above across the Midwest. So
nice to meet you, everybody. Congratulations on all your hard work. You guys are breaking records for real. Congratulations.
What else? Any other questions? Again, like Clinton said, there's no dumb questions. If you have an idea, fire it out there. We want to make sure that you guys succeed and have a strategy, because the strategy is kind of key. I know we talked a lot about kind of what you can't do, and I feel bad. When we're going over, I specifically wanted to take a little bit of time and make sure you knew what the landscape looked like so that you could be successful within it. I know we didn't spend a ton of time talking about what you can do. We gave some suggestions, and maybe that's a conversation that we can have another time, or you can have with your team, or I'm happy to have it with you. But I don't want anybody to think, because of our social media policies, by any means you can't build a successful business. In fact, that's exactly the opposite. So
I can tell you, with being partner with Melaleuca for 9 months now, the people that had followed me from my previous company are having way more success now than they ever were before. And a lot of it is because of the social media policy. Before, it was just blasting and blasting and blasting, and it just repelled everybody. So it's here for you guys. It's here for your team. What you'll find over time, as your team starts to brand themselves and their lifestyle and get more people to start following them, because they're not trying to sell them every day, you're going to find your team winning more, and you're going to find them enrolling more people and create more curiosity, for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the ruts I think we can probably get into, especially for those of you who have direct sales or MLM marketing experience, is that you're dealing with, again, that pizza slice of customers, because it doesn't make sense for them to be customers in a traditional direct sales or multi-level marketing company unless they're doing the business. And so it kind of limits your audience. With Melaleuca, you've got reasonable products, exceptional products at reasonable prices. There isn't that standard distributor markup or anything. And so it really makes sense to be a customer even if you don't build the business, where I think a lot of you can probably say that's the first time you've ever experienced something like that. So when you think in practice, when you're reaching out, that means a good chunk, that just expanded your market. And I know we're all used to using social media to reach out specifically to those multi-level marketing or direct sales folks, people that are specifically looking to build the business, but now you've just opened everything else up. And so think, what are the other, 60, for those of you who haven't taken a look at the income statistics, 66% of our customer base will never refer a customer ever, period, end of sentence, ever. Now, I know we're all hoping to find people that will help build the business with us, but if 66% of our entire customer base as a company is just buying products, I think that's incredible, because that means the products are good enough, because we all know if they're not good and if they're not inexpensive, like, we're not buying them. I'm not. Like, my dad complains that he pays $30 for a pair of jeans. Right? That's how consumer behavior works. And so now I can call Aunt Susie, who just never wanted anything to do with my previous businesses because she thought she had to do something. Well, guess what? We've got some amazing products that she's going to probably love. But the way you approach her is significantly different than the way you would approach somebody who has direct sales or is looking for a home to build a business. So I think this just allows you to do that. So sorry, I get off my soapbox. I know a couple of you unmuted. Probably have some questions, so please fire away.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hello. Okay. What if you were just to, like, you've got your friend and you just want to tell them, hey, I found some really good products. Can I just send you a catalog and you look at it? And this would be like through Messenger, not on their Facebook page or anything. Is that, I mean, just to say, hey, I'm not trying to be all hype on you. I just want to let you know, I've been trying these things and I really like them and I think you'd like them. They're reasonable. Let me, send you the catalog, with just through Messenger and take a look at it. And I mean, is that kind of thing okay to do?
So I love your approach. I love the beginning of your approach, and maybe Clinton can chime in on this. If you don't mind, can I toss another suggestion your way?
Sure.
Instead of sending them, when you send them a catalog, you're basically putting the ball back in their court, and you're putting yourself back in the reactive mode again, right? Because then in order to become a customer, they need to reach back out to you, right?
Yeah.
Or you need to go chase them down. You need to wonder why they're not, I can see you read my message. How come you're not, and play that whole game. I know that you guys have played that game before. Instead of sending them a catalog, why don't you have that same conversation with them? And instead of that, say, listen, my friend Clinton or my friend Madra is doing a real quick overview Wednesday at 7. Can you make it?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because then they get the whole picture. I'm afraid, I think sometimes with catalogs, if that's all you got, then maybe you think you can just order one off here and there, or,
Yeah.
I know what I do with catalogs. They usually end up sitting on my counter for about 3 weeks and then I chuck them.
Well, so then now there is that video that does the overview of the product and then goes into the business, which, and again, some people aren't going to be interested in that, and I understand that. Is that okay to send them that?
I think so. I would try to, as from an overview standpoint, and I think this might be a topic for another conversation. From an overview standpoint, I think the closer you can get to live, face-to-face, the better. And so anytime you have an option of like a live Zoom cast, like what we're doing now, because then I can talk with you, right? Like we can have this conversation instead of me just like sending you the stuff and saying, here, decide if you want to be a customer, because then you're basically giving the ball back to them instead of staying proactive on your own. I would invite them to a live overview instead of sending them something, and then go with them to watch the overview. That's where you're probably going to have the best success.
Okay, thank you.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any other, you guys want to add anything else to that? I think we're on the right path.
The catalog is great. I always send it after they see the overview.
Right.
And a lot of times I'll try to get on the phone with them, using the same way that you initiated that conversation and, what you've discovered, what you found. And it's amazing. I've never seen this many products priced at this low a cost. I would love to send you a catalog, but do you have 5 minutes? I'd love to talk to you, or just try to get them on the phone. And if they can't get on the phone, then invite them to an overview, from there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, here's the cool part about the overview. The overview does all the selling that you'll ever need to do in this business. You never need to sell to somebody to get them to watch an overview, because the overview is going to do that. All you need to do is schedule an appointment or find a way to get them on an overview, because the overview is going to tell them everything that they need to know to become either a customer or a business builder or a mix of both or whatever. And so the great news is that it takes a lot of that weight off you, because you don't have to try to talk about wellness company in 32 years and debt free and 1.75 billion and products people actually like. The overview is going to do all that stuff. So you don't have to duplicate that effort. All you have to do is say, hey, I found something that's amazing and I think you'd really be interested in it. I'd love it if you jump on at 7 o'clock. And if not, no big deal, but I'd still like you to at least take a look. That's it. Nothing fancy.
Hey, Jason, if I could just chime in and really just summarize a couple of principles that you brought up that
Sure.
were spot on. And you probably saw me writing back here on the board. I just want to, some of these, actually every one of these Jason said, the 4 statements that I wrote up on the board were: build a business to last a lifetime. The truth is good enough. The compensation plan is designed to reward the producer. and real customers ordering real products that they really want. And Jason said every single one of these statements, and the individual that's over all of our compliance department and just ensuring that our company is being built the right way, he shared with me that if we really understood those 4 principles, building a business to last a lifetime, the truth is good enough, the compensation plan is designed to reward the producer, and real customers ordering real products that they really want. If we really understand those 4 principles, we would never ask the question, is this post approved? So I know it probably is going to take some time. It might really understanding what those mean, but with the help of Clinton and Jason, and for those that I get to work with, we'll all understand those together. We'll ask ourselves those questions less and less until we really understand, all right, yeah, I'm here to build a business to last a lifetime. I want real customers ordering real products that they really want, that the questions won't be asked. So just to solidify everything that Jason has just mentioned. Fantastic training, Jason.
What I've found working very effective on social media too, when you talk about, one product at a time. I had a gal, she had opened her box and did this whole thing that was non-compliant and got no response. 2 weeks later, she's asking me for IDs. And I said, just do this. I go, take a picture of your toothpaste that came in your home conversion kit, the Blue Cap toothpaste, because it's amazing. And take it so you can see it, but you can't see the word Melaleuca on it, which, by the way, if you happen to take a picture of a product and it does say Melaleuca, that is fine, if you're wondering. But I always had them take it so you couldn't see it. I just said, put that picture up and say something as short and sweet as, I never would imagine walking out of my bathroom. I would have felt like I walked out of the dentist's office. And she had 25 people saying, where do you get that toothpaste? What kind of toothpaste is that? And then you take everything from that. Your post is all it's designed to do is pique curiosity, and then you take it offline. Pique curiosity, take it offline, and then you can have a real conversation with them. But it started from a real product, and it's going to be a product that people want. And we have 600 products, so you could do 2 products a week, and it would take you all year to get through our product line. I mean, so it's something that I've found very effective for my wife and I. I've found for the team very effective. That's like that one that Jason put up about that cleaning the shower. You'd be shocked at how many people respond to a shower cleaner, a carpet cleaning thing, or an air freshener thing, or anything. From a pre-workout bar that tastes like a Rolo that helps you burn fat. Come on now, who's not going to respond to that? So individual products. Not every day, maybe once a week, twice a week, depending on how much you typically post. It's going to change. If you're a person that posts 8 times a day about your family and all the other stuff, then maybe you could post twice a week about this product. If you're someone that posts 3 times a week, you probably don't want 2 of the 3 being a product post. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know we are not supposed to do like call to action posts. So does that include asking questions such as, who has a Sam's Club or a Costco membership, or who uses essential oils and stuff like that? Would that be something that we shouldn't be doing?
Jason, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
I was pantomiming. I was going to act it out. Yeah, that's totally fine. That's not a call to action. Call to action is more like message me for more information, or something that feels like ask me how you can, or something like that. I had a gal did a great post, generated a lot of comments. She said, anybody have experience with psoriasis? What do you use? Right? Great post. Well, now, see, here's the thing. Like, you didn't ask anything specific about your business. You weren't salesy. You didn't burn the fields. And every single person that posts below you, guess what? They all have some experience with psoriasis, right? So now you know something about all those people. And just so you know, if it's the policies will still apply to your messages in the post. And one of the things that I'll tell you is that typically, outside of the MLM or network marketing world, you'll never hear the words PM sent as a reply to a post. Like that's another one of those things that maybe not necessarily, it kind of screams MLM. So be careful also down in what happens down in your comments. But I think that's a great idea because a lot of people can start posting. You can learn a lot about your people, and then again, take it offline, right? You've gathered some information. Now you can take it offline and reach out to them individually.
Yeah, and like the essential oil ones, you could take it even a little bit further, saying something like, man, loving learning about essential oils. I'd be curious, what do all your friends out there, what oils do you use and why do you use them? There'll be so many comments there. Same thing with the, Sam's Club, Costco is, anything like that. Just curious, out of all the shopping clubs, Samco, Costco, BJ's, who's a member of what and why?
Right.
Anything like
right. You get a lot of information from that, but then you want to stay in the driver's seat, and then you reach out to them one-on-one, individually, offline, whether that's a phone call or it. Yep.
So what would your suggestion be when you're responding to their comments? If you don't want to say like I'll message you or I'll PM you, what would you suggest saying so that you don't sound like
that's a tricky one. If you typically, well, keep in mind you're probably only going to get in a situation where you're going to be responding like that if you've had a call to action in your post, right? If somebody posts and says, "Hey, I'm interested," it's probably because you have something that resembles a call to action in your post, right? So in a situation where you're asking a specific question about an essential oil, they're probably not going to put you in a position where you would have to respond with PM sent. But yeah, every situation is a little bit different. I think you can tweak your post so that you should never have to reply with something like that, right? And just make it like I'll call them like a normal people post. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I did a post, I think it was yesterday, where I used the wrinkle release fabric freshener on a shirt, and I showed the before and after of what my shirt looked like, and I had tons and tons of people saying they wanted to know what it was.
Right.
In the comments.
Yeah. The stuff is amazing. I'll call you. Something like that isn't like doesn't fit into that form factor PM sent. I guess the PM sent was more of it's almost like a cut and paste kind of almost feel. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing: if they're asking the question, you don't have to reply saying sending you a message. You're gonna send them a message. They're gonna get it. So if you send them a message and you don't hear from them in a couple of days, then maybe you want to go to their wall and say, "Hey, I reached out to you. I didn't hear back from you," or something. But if they're asking a question, you don't have to tell them what you're going to do. Just do it, and they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Because then people can get kind of sticky. They're like, "How come she didn't send me a PM? I don't even know what a PM is." Keep going. What else? I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to be very respectful of your time. I thank so much for you guys taking so much of your time today. Anything else? Man, we did a good job. I think just a couple of questions. Well, the conversation doesn't stop here. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Ask Clinton, ask Madra, call us. Happy to help you. Super excited about all the momentum you guys are building, and but I'm less excited than the thought of you all still being here and being successful 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and helping us build a company together. So I'm excited that you're here. Welcome home, all of you.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. And we appreciate all of you guys on Zoom and anyone watching this. I think the biggest thing was not to just go over everything that you can't do, but understand there's a lot you can do with social media if you do it right. And what you're going to see is, all the success from it, and it's going to get duplicated down in your business, and you're going to see a lot more success by doing it right than trying to go around the policies and doing it wrong. So anyway, thank you all for hopping on. I know it went a little long, but I'll tell you, it was worth it. It was great stuff, and it'll be great for your team. And if you guys need anything, obviously reach out. It's going to be a great end of the month here for July, and we're excited for each and every single one of you.